Hey, Mark, can you hear me? Can you hear anything? Is it really terrible? If it's really terrible, we might just leave it. No, thank you. It's raining, it's bucketing down. It's raining. I'm not sure how much this microphone probably cancels out or doesn't. Mark says it's all right. Can hear the rain. It's not drowning me out too much. I'll keep going. There's not a lot of point doing this if we aren't. Anyway, it looks like it's going to rain all week, and we're probably going to end up flooded in by the end of the week. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, it's wet, it's miserable. I've been at work all day. It's cold. I've got my high-vis jacket on because it's only warm, sort of half grubby thing I've got. It's been on the steam engine too many times. Thanks, Mark. I look a bit tired and scruffy. It's been a day, to be honest. Anyway, didn't get real organised here with this, but let's add this scene in. Wonder what the weather's like in Brisbane. It's supposed to rain all week here until Friday. If it rains like this until Friday, we're going to have problems. And I'm probably not going to be working Friday, to be honest. But we'll see how we go with that. If we get 5-10 mil a day, it's going to be quite pleasant by Friday. So we'll see how we go. But we've had more than that today, and it's sort of been like this most of the day. It's just bucketing out there. Anyway, more than I expected. We're expecting a little bit of rain this week. It's cooled things down, but it's not probably our ultimate outcome if it keeps going. As soon as we get everything or nothing. And trouble is with Glen Ray is that give it two or 3 days of this and the roads tend to disappear underwater. Yard here's gravel and not too boggy, so it's sort of, we're doing all right there. I can get in and out. Yeah, got to find somewhere flat and a little bit elevated to actually park the van to sleep. That's the thing, because if it's not flat, I end up with cramp all down one side by about 3 o'clock. Anyway, too much information. So anyway, this is where we're at. I'm on time and all that sort of stuff. You can't sort of ask for much more than that. I'm trying to paint stuff, and I had a bit of a nap when I come home, which isn't particularly helpful. But anyway, But we're working on this, and we'll go back to, I think we press this button here. Here we go. Light's sort of average, to be honest. I'm looking old. We're working on this. It's quite a lot of bits. There's a cap with a little lever in it and a cam. And there's an iron, which is just a flat iron. There's no cap iron on that. There's lots of little jobs we could do. There's a knob, which is knurled around the edge with a dished in. That's quite a nice little project on its own. And there's this here, which is the throat adjustment. And there's a little throat plate in it. Drop that. There's the throat plate, and that goes in the gap there at the back. There's a stud, and there's a little so looking at this stud, is probably straight up and down in the back there, I think. Looking at it, it might be on an angle, but I don't think so. It's a bit, anyway, this stud goes straight up and down. That's like it's about 7 mil something. It's probably 7 mil, quarter inch. It's a 32nd over a quarter inch is 932. That's what I was trying to think of. And there's a little arm in here that rocks across this little piece here. So these features we haven't got on our drawing yet. We haven't got this little truncated tapered piece in here that the lever sits on. It just bolts in with a screw. We take that off. There's a screw there with a round top, there's a brass screw. And then there's this lever. And then there's this feature in here, which is truncated at the same angle. Minus the thickness of the cap iron. So it's at the same angle as the plane, minus as the frog there, but minus the thick lever, which is this one here. So there's this piece in the back here we've got to put in, and there's this stud. So that's pretty basic. Looks like I'm only talking to Mark. I know that there is a couple of guys coming in and out and actually taking some stuff from this particular build because it's of interest. And I've seen some of the results of what they're working on, and it looks great. So I'm going to continue doing this. Even with a limited, even if everyone disappears, I'm going to do a proper series on this because I know they'll watch it later. So let's have a look here. So in here, is a braided cone, I guess, with a taper on it, with some gussets, gussets across the middle. And I'm only guessing, but I reckon I haven't fixed my vernier yet. It's still sitting here on the bench. I didn't even get a steel rule. It's a bit slack, but I can probably guess this pretty well. but I reckon that comes back from the back edge of that frog there, about 19 millimeters, and we've already got that piece in there, which is sort of a feature of it. The way to do that, the easiest way, is just to make a plane from this surface. We use this button up here, which is the plane button. If you hover over it, it tells you what it does, basically. It says, it should tell you what it is, but it gives you a plane from existing geometry. If we click that, and it says plane, and the entities are here. So it puts a plane on that angle, which gives us something to work on. Now there's a couple of things off that, so we're going to leave it and just change our pieces. I think we're going to leave that plane right on that level, so we're not going to offset it. This is trying to offset it. There's all sorts of features we can do here with planes, but we're going to stick to offset, and we're going to go 0 millimeters. Probably simple as that. Click 0. That gives us a plane or a plane there, the same as this one and this one, right there on that 21 degrees for the low angle. So if we want to put something on here off there, we can make a sketch. We make a sketch directly on the plane. Sketch plane is plane 1. And if we press N, that brings it round sort of normal, so that this plane here is actually level and flat. We use the use button and the construction line button. Then we can use this line here. As part of our sketch. And that'll be a construction line across there as we've put on this sketch. Now from there to the middle of the hole, we said 19 millimeters. So if we put another construction line from the center there, it's locked right on. Out here somewhere, and we'll tip 19 in. We'll see how that looks. Not terrible. That's about where we are. We'll zoom that in a bit so you can see. But that's where that is. It's way past where this is. This is not anywhere near far enough back. This boss in here is probably about 12 millimeters diameter. So if we draw a circle on here on that plane, that should give us a circle on that plane. We'll go 12 mil. And we'll extrude that. And of course it's extruded it up that way, and we want it to go the other way, so we'll change this direction. What you'll find now is the chop sticks out the bottom like that. That's not particularly helpful. Put a bit of a taper on it. So we'll go draft. There we go. I reckon it's 3 degrees isn't far out. Go 4. There, like that. Now it still sticks out the bottom here. It's not helpful, but we can do two things. We can go past and we can make another sketch on the side and draw a box and chop it off, which is a bit ugly and cumbersome. What we can do here is we can click this up to face, right? And click on here and we can select this face. Okay, that's that boss in place nicely. So that's the way to do that. This feature here needs to come back up a bit, I think. Probably 6 mil, something like that. So we've got to find this feature. If we click on that, it gives us, it highlights the actual feature here in the feature library that we've actually used to make that, and it's an extrusion. So it's probably on the cutout sketch, I think. We edit the sketch and click it normal. It turns it upside down, but there we go. And this distance is not enough, I don't think. So we're going to change this. Now put a line up here. Well, we're probably going to extend that line. I think might be the best way to do that. Is just extend that. And we can make that a construction line, and we can extend this one up here as far as we'd like. Does that work? I think it did that time. All right. So this distance here from here to here, if we measure it, just measurement here. On that plane is about, let's say 12 millimeters roughly. 12, let's go 18. If we change that though, it's going to give us all sorts of problems. Since the sketch could not be sold. If we delete this one, we might have to use the trim button. Trim is in. There and there. That changes that, see? And all we need to do is put those lines in again. So it's from here, I can to about there. I'm going to put another line in from, it needs to be quite that high. It's not right up to the top, it's got a gap under it. Let's do it like this. We can trim this piece out of the middle. We've got this line up here, and we can offset that. The offset tool is offsets it automatically 5 millimeters. It doesn't need to be that much. I think it's about probably 2. And our mouse has got a little tick on the right on the left hand button. So if we click that finalizes that, and it gives us a measurement there we can write in, or we can press escape if we've got it right. From that, we could put something up here. If we zoom that in, it's just a mouse scroll. Something like that. Click left, that back into frame. And we're going to trim some piece out of here. So we'll trim that one out. And we'll trim that one out. And we'll extend the other one. We'll extend this one through to here. And that turns the background grey. So that means that we can extrude that. And if we click that, don't see anything's happened there. But look at that. Somewhere pretty close. So we've got that feature. We can go through this now and put fillets all around. What did we have the fillet set for before? Was 3 millimeters. It seems a bit extreme. Let's go 1. I'll fillet this on the side there. I don't think we can do that. No, it's not going to let us do that. So we'll just do one side. Hit the green button or hit the enter key. And the same on this side. Now this already has it set the same as we're using. We'll set this one. So let's put some fillets in there like that. Nice. And we want to do the front and the back, so we'll do that. This one is there, and then this piece. And this piece. Confirm that, and we'll do the front. It's that line there. So that's all that in there, pretty good. Now there is a threaded hole in the center here that this screw goes into. Now looking at this screw, I reckon it's the same thread as the back one. It is. Parts should be interchangeable. It's probably, but it's not the same front. We're getting a clicking noise. Can you hear that? Is that annoying everyone? Why are we getting that? Unplug this. It's annoying me. It's just started happening. I'm not sure why that is. Hole in here. It's a 932 thread, I would say. I'm going to call it 7 millimeters because we'll go metric. We'll just put another sketch for that, and then we can change it if we need to, quite simply. We will rename that for so we can find it. On this face, I think we were going to put it. It's even easy if we forget where we put it. We can just click on there. There we go. Face of extrude 9 and a 7mm hole. Yeah. 7. That looks about right. How far does that thread go down? Just far enough that it doesn't come through the bottom, I think. It's quite deep, probably 10mm deep. We'll change this anyway to 10mm. And because this is an extrusion, it's pushing it out the front. If we click remove instead, it pulls it in there like that. Doesn't come right through. If we look on the side, that's about the space we've got. If we have a look here. There for the ended arrow there, so that's pretty good. And hit enter again. We've got that hole. Now we can put a thread in there. There's a couple of ways we could do that. We use the hole function, and that sort of gives you a thread. It gives you an impression of it. It's a little bit ugly. If we have a look up here, there's a feature script called Thread Creator. I don't think it's part of it. I think you've got to search for it. But Thread Creator, we'll put a thread in that face. ISO standard, if you like. M7 pitch is not 1mm. What's the standard M7 pitch? Let's have a look here. There is an M7x1, which is the same as M6. Yeah, of course, M7 is the same as M6. There you go. Very useful thing if you strip a hole, but finding M7 drill is probably more difficult. So 1mm pitch, one start, and we want it fully threaded. We don't want a left-hand thread. We want it the ISO standard. If we click that, it's put quite a decent thread in there that we can actually add that sort of stuff. So there we go. Fillet around it, and we're just going to do it again. Like so. Looks good. And this here wants a fillet as well. I don't know if we're going to manage to do that, but I think a fillet on here. Yep, it's going to do that. Let's manage that as well. We could probably fillet this while we're on the job. That looks pretty good, and we could put a fillet here. Come on. This hasn't finalised as well as it should. That's a bit ugly. I'm going to try again. No, it's not going to like that. It's done a beautiful job there. On this side, it's struggling. It's details, but I'm not sure why it's done that. Anyway, we're going to live with that for a bit. It's done the side. It's given me a different fillet. Don't know why that is. Anyway, so that's that feature done. Let's move on. There's two little cutouts, so we'll have a look at this again. So we've got this feature all finished here last week, and we've got this feature here finished. I'm doing this in mirror, so right. So as a way of a change, we could put these thumb dents in here. They're about 17 mil by, oh my gosh, use my broken vernier, or actually fix it. Probably 37 by, well, it's bigger than you think. Probably 18 by 37. And might be only a millimetre deep. Let's have a look at that. They go in the side here. Might put them in first or next. This line here is our plane. Now that's still showing. If we click P, all the planes. Press it again, they all come back on. Now on this line, if that's 18 and it's about, they're not real clean or smooth or in the right spot or anything, but about 5 millimetre down from the end, and 18.5 by 18 is 9. So from the top here down, we draw a sketch on that side of the plane, and line from there. 9 and, we'll say 9 and 5 is 14 millimetres. Should be about where the centre is. Just type in 14 manually. There we go. Now, if we click ellipse here on this menu, .37 that way, and 18 that way, something like that. So that's sort of how it should look. But it doesn't fix your problem because it's not going to give us a concave face. If we extrude that, it's only going to give us basically a it's basically going to give us a cutout with a square edge around here. It's going to look a bit ugly. So what we need, actually make a ball, a squash ball here just off the side. And we decided it wants to be about 1 millimetre deep. Holding a ruler over that or something, it's probably 1.2 deep. And it needs to fill out to that line. If we go to the front here, and we hide part 1 by closing this little eye, we can see this sketch. Make another sketch. Sketch plane. Which should be the centre line for the ellipse. And reconstruction line here. I'm going to go this way. 1.2. And we need to find out here, if we go reduction line from here, out here somewhere. Probably the best way to do that is use the use button or the project button. And we put that line onto our new sketch. And we use this feature here called a 3-point arc. And our 34.35 meters. So there's our workout on that. We can put a measurement on that sketch. What we're saying is if we draw a circle, this is a little bit challenging actually when you think about it. But if we draw here at 34.35 millimeters or 68.7. Hey, Peter. Right, that's sort of where we need to be. It is a lot of stuffing in that. If we do the front here, we'll go to the top and we'll make another sketch on the top plane or make a sketch on that plane and face a sketch 2. And do the same thing, I think. zoom it in so we actually line up. It's not going to line up, so we'll press escape out of that. Get rid of that, and what we're going to do is on this sketch plane, we'll draw a line. We'll click the use button, and we'll use that line there on our sketch plane. That way, when we do this, it wouldn't do it. I see why too. All right, let's close that sketch 4. And it's got rid of that because there's no actual detail. What we need is a sketch on this plane here. So if we make a new plane, there we go. This is getting a bit complicated. Make a plane off that line. And it says offsets, not what we want, line angle is what we need. We'll make it 90 degrees to that line. Should swing around. And that gives us a plane there to put a sketch on. So that's what we need. Sketch plane is plane 2. And then in for normal. Then we can use this line here in our plane, in our sketch, and this line here in our sketch, and the 3-point curve again. And that's 143. So what we've got is the actual dish there both ways. The School of Dental Butchery sounds a bit scary, Bill. So how do we convert that into an actual surface? Interesting. We've got this curve here and this curve here. We want to convert them into an actual surface. Now let's have a look at this. There is a way, I've just got to think about that. Now, I think it's fill. Our edges are there. That didn't work. So it's not fill. It's one of these. Boundary surface. Could be boundary surface. Not boundary surface. I'm out of my depth here. I haven't done this for a little while. I think it's definitely fill, but we've got to find let's fill the edge there. There we go, and there's this one. And this one. And that gives us a surface. There we go. It can be done. It's given us that particular surface. It's not ball shaped, that's why. It's two different radiuses. But there we go, it's function here now, which is thicken. That's what we're looking for. Thicken. Thicken at 5 millimeters and make a new part, that piece. If we turn part 1 on, all we've got to do is remove that one from that one and we've done the job. Just nice. Before we do that, we can mirror it. So if we use the mirror function, here we are, introduce the mirror is this piece, and mirror plane is this one. It'll give us another one over there, and it's added it in. But if we go remove, that gives us a shape. There we go. Look at that. Use a Boolean union for this one. And there's subtraction. We click subtract. Our tools is this one. And our target is this one. So there we go. To give us a bit of contrast, what we can do is use this appearance panel. Several ways we can do this. But our appearance of this part is blue at the moment. And we could wait for cast iron, something like that. And change that to what we like. Click that one, close it. Now, add appearance to face is this little one here. I'll put some black paint in there if we like. And black's probably a bit much. We'll go dark grey like that. We could do the same with this one. Add appearance to face. And we go dark grey. So that should give us a reflection and all those sort of things on there. Excellent. So it's a bit of an offside, so it took a doing, but that can be done accurately and properly with very minimum sort of work. Once we've mapped it out, we can actually make that part. The thumb holes are in there. So we'll do another feature on this. I'm enjoying this cup of tea, guys. New work cup. Yes. Big coffee mug, but it keeps a cup of tea hot till lunchtime, so I'm sort of liking that. And it fits in my car cup holder, which is also a big thing. Anyway, next feature on this, will we do another feature on here, or will we make separate other bits? Vote. Will we do another? Or will we make one of the other parts first? Too late. I think I'm going to put this feature on the back, which is this boss right here in the back corner. Looking at it, it's about 1/4 inch back from this face here in the center, I reckon. We go to here. Over here, we'll trim that. Put a sketch on actually. Am I back? I think I'm back. I don't know what happened there. We lost a little bit. Anyway, we're putting a new sketch right on this back, on the back top plane here. We'll go construction line, Q is the shortcut for construction line. Put a line here. Hopefully not going to lose power tonight. I shouldn't lose internet. Now, if we hover over this line, then we can trace this up, and it gives us a little orange triangle there, which gives us that point. We can come down here. And I said about 6 millimeters, 6.5. Let's go 6.5. And we'll press escape and collect just to close all those little features we've got open. And so that's right on top there. It sticks up about 5.5 millimeters. I'm converting this roughly to metric because it's all imperial sizes, and I'm sure they're just fractions. But if we extrude that, and here we put 5.5. And we'll put a bit of draft on it. Now this will automatically make the big end on that end, but we'll click this little arrow, it puts it the other way around. The right side so we can see it. What's that look like? And there's a little bit of draft. There's 3 degrees. Let's go 4. Click OK or the enter button, and that's that. We can go ahead and fillet that. Like so. We give it a little bit more of a natural look. And fill at the top. Like so. And same deal, this has got a thread in it. So if we sketch on top of here, we'll make the thread sketch a separate one. And we should be labeling all these sketches because it'll make it a lot easier on a complicated project like this when we go back. So sketch on here, made a hole. When you click out a square, it'll give you the center of that feature or that face. Click on that, and our diameter centers. And we can extrude that without even closing it. You can press enter if you like and finalize that. That's about what's 5.5, 6. Let's go 7 millimeters. And remove. There we go. And the same deal. We'll put the thread, and if you've used this feature script before, in your feature script menu there, that'll be the one that's on top. There. It'll give you an imperial thread until you change this to ISO standard. And it's in 7x1. So that's that feature done. There's another piece in the center here, goes in here. At some point, I think we should go ahead and make the stud and the nut for this. So what we're going to do is start a new part studio here. Create part studio. We're going to rename this to stud. We'll call it rear adjuster stud. This is a pretty simple part, so it won't take a minute to draw this. If we go to the top like that, or we click this here, and it brings us to the top plane. We'll put a sketch on that plane, and we draw a circle there, 7mm diameter. Not a very big part. And we extrude that. Now it's about 34mm long. So 34. If we right click and drag that around, it gives us some sort of idea what it's going to look like. To fill it on the top end, it's almost right round, so I'm going to make a 3mm fillet on it. See what 3.5mm looks like. There we go, that's better. We'll do that. And that's what that looks like. Same deal, thread indicator, I click on the surface. And we don't want American Standard, we don't ISO. Give it a second to wake up. M7x1. And there's that start. We click down on here, not there. This part here, we'll try this part. And edit appearance. Let's select the different. I haven't assigned materials or anything for it yet, but that part's done, so that's simple. So we've got this part and this part, and we can go ahead and we can make an assembly. Now, assembly is where all the parts come together, and it's a little bit different doing a little bit different window. And compared to other programs like Solid Edge or if it works a little bit differently. But we can insert each part into this drawing. If we insert that, it puts it right on the same place in the modeling space as it did in the original. So you can move it around, but if you stay on, and we'll put the next piece in too. If we put this rear adjuster stuff, which is our second part in, that puts it straight on the origin point, the same as we drew it. If we come off that little window, we can put this anywhere. We put that up there. That needs to align in that hole there. There's a mate for that. But before we do that, this part here, we're going to leave this one as right there. So we're going to fix this. We right click this and you click the fix. There's a little line comes beside that, and you can't move this around. It's fixed. So that sort of means that you're not going to bump it. You can still move this around. If you pick this up, you can move this anywhere. But if we use a mate, we're wondering which one's the best, and there is a helical mate. There's a screw relation. That's probably the best thing. Distance per revolution is 1 millimeter. That's the pitch. Our mate here is basically the top of that, and the bottom of that. It's expecting a mate though. So before we do that, we'll put some mates on here. That's this little button here, a mate connection. We'll put one on there like that, right in the middle. We can put one on here like this, also right in the middle. And put them anywhere, but there we go, right in the middle of that one. And we've got one. We'll put another mate connector. Let's go right in the middle of the top here because we know that that's actually cylindrical. So we'll put a mate connector there. Like that. So what we've described that, we've got two mate connectors. We've got one here and one here. Now, if we have used this, which is our screw relation, and we select here, we select mate one. Let's do that. I should just do that. I'm probably going to do this the easy way rather than the difficult way because this doesn't need to be screwing in and out and animate it. Let's close that. We'll start again here. Something we can always do is start again. I'm just going to make basically a revolute mate. And we can click that there. This will need to take a bit of messing around if it's the first time you've used it. Because this is actually in the center, whereas the bottom of the thread won't be. Let's fit that in there like that. We want to offset it. The mount we've got sticking out, I think, is about, looking at this, probably 25 mil. Negative 25 is what we need. There we go. what we have discovered is that stud's a little bit too long because it's sticking out the bottom here, and it shouldn't do that. We can go back and do that, adjust that. Now extrusion, if we edit that, we'll just edit it. 32. We go back to our assembly. That should have automatically updated that. There we go. So that's enough. It might not be lined up, but we can move that around if we need to line it up, just manually. We should be able to set it as a screw, as a screw mate, which slides in and out at the right pitch. But a bit more messing around, unless you're going to animate it, there's probably not a lot of point in it. Next part's this fancy nut. Have a look at this. It's a brass piece, which I like a bit. So this fancy nut here, it's got a rope knurl on it, which is a bit flash. Don't know if we got that. I think we're back. Try that again. I think we dropped out. But it's got a rope knurl and it's got a recess in the top and the bottom. And anyway, we'll have a look at that. What that does is move that little lever up and down and adjust the blade in and out. So and that goes on this stud here, and we should be able to animate that to go up and down without any problems at all. That should be an easy job. We'll make a new part. So new part studio. We'll rename that to in keeping with the rest of it. Adjuster knob. So we want to draw the profile out. It's because I'm a bit slack. It's about 23 millimeters diameter. It's probably 4 millimeters thick. Pete crossed the street. It was dropping out here because we were getting some rain. So let's do this bit and put it on, and we might call that a night because we've sort of had a bit of a go. But new sketch on here, and we're going to sketch the profile basically. We want a line, and we're going to press Q for a construction line. We'll put a center line up here somewhere. It doesn't matter really where it is. We'll remember that. And the reason we put a center line is because we can then use diametral measurements on this, which is really a nice feature. If we click the measurement here, and this one, right? That'll give us our outside diameter, or that gives us the full diameter, and we're only drawing half the profile to revolve it. So that's a really nice feature. Now, the center of them is about 19 millimeters, so it's nowhere near as big as we thought it was. There we go. We can zoom that out so we can actually see it. Come over here, it zooms that way. If you come over here and use your center roller on your mouse, it zooms that way. I reckon this here, if we draw a line across here, somewhere, this is a line, and a measurement on that, so that this is between there and there. I reckon that measurement needs to be about 1 millimeter. We can trim that up. We use the trim tool. It's very easy to get these mixed up. But if we click trim, and trim this piece out of here, and trim that off the end there, and trim this side of the construction line. And we can mirror that. So mirror that across the center. If we use the mirror line, and mirror that one. I guess everyone can still hear me. And if we trim this piece out of here, that gives us our profile. Now, center bots is about 9 millimeters diameter. So if we put a line here, something like this, and a measurement, again, we click on that, and then we click on that line, that'll give us this measurement here, and we can put 9 millimeters diameter. Now it's about flush on the bottom here. So we draw a construction line here, from here somewhere, across here, and trim those two. Trim that one and that one. And that one. Oops. Control Z fixes that. That's what we need to do. We didn't realise is we need to extend this construction line down here somewhere. We can do that easy. Except we didn't do it. Why didn't it have escape? Oh, it's only extended it to there. That'll do. Now we can trim it. Pressing M is probably the easier way, but I only got one handful. If you press escape to get rid of all those things that we're doing, come on, do the thing. And click on this line, then by pure clicking on the construction line, that changes it back into a solid line. We trim that there. It's starting to give us the profile. Now, I reckon that comes up 2.5 mil past there, so it's 1 meter. 3.5. Same deal, if we draw a line across here somewhere, it doesn't need to actually meet anything up. We can put a measurement between this one and this one. 3.5. Does that look about right? Probably looks about right. Trim them again. While we're at it, we can put a fillet in here because I think it needs it. We don't need a 5mm fillet, we only need a 1mm fillet. And that does that. Still got this line in here, so we're going to have to trim that out before we put a fillet in. There we go, now we can do it. Oops. And it remembers too what the original, what the last one was, so that's sorted that out. That's sort of what we got. Another line down here, because we might as well put the hole in here as well. So measurement again, we can measure from here. It's a 7mm hole. That's wrong. Don't need that measurement. Escape and Control Z fixes that. We click on that and then click on this line here. That gives us the diameter measurement, which is 7mm. Hey John, it's all going on. We trim that out. This one, this one, this one, this one. We've got the profile for the nut within the center line here. So using this here, rather than this extrude, if we use the revolve tool, a revolve sketch, a face of sketch and a resolve axis here. That gives us our knob. There we go. Without the fancy rope knurl yet. But there, we can put a thread in it. Thread creator. And of course it defaults to American. Don't know why it does that. We don't want a square thread. We want ISO standard. I think I'm back. Because we've lost connection there again, it's tried to put a thread in there. We can go and change the version sort of stuff, but we won't. Let's try again. We'll put a new thread in there. It's that face we want to thread. 1mm pitch. M7x1. And click that. So there we go. That's roughly what it looks like. It needs a rope knurl around it. That's a bit more it's a bit of a bit more stuffing around, but it's certainly doable. It's very doable. But let's click this and edit the appearance, making this sensitive brass. So we'll make it a nice bright yellow or probably a bronzy colour. That's probably a fairly brassy colour, is it? Something like that. And come into our assembly. So this is what we've got. Insert into our assembly the rear adjuster knob. Now let's put that right on the origin point. We don't want that because it'll be hard to find. So we'll put that up there. $1mm pitch, we're going to mates. I'll put some mates in here. We'll put one on the top face here. And we'll put a mate here on this face here. Zoom this right in so we can actually see it. I'll put that there. And hopefully, if we do this, we should play the game. We require one cylindrical mate. Okay, that's interesting. Ah, got it. Worked out how to do that. I'd forgotten. That's what we need. This is not a function you use very often, but if we delete those and make a revolute mate, cylindrical ball revolute. So what it means is that we need to mate these together like this. So if we click that on there and there, that puts that in place. Sort of. Then we can do this. Oh, we're looking for, that's not a revolute, it says cylindrical. Why are we doing this? We just got to read the instructions. Move that over there. A cylindrical works both, whereas revolute just turns. So if we click that there, that's one. And there is the second one. We've got a cylindrical mate. That's what we need. Then we can do that. And it's done it. So there we go. You can't see it turning, but we can pull it, drag it back and down. So that works. Distance per revolution is 1 millimeter. Just change that. And now if we drag it around, It goes up and down the screw. John's up late. So that's that working. Anyway, we're getting there. If we put a knurl on that, we'll be able to see that turning. But take my word for it, it is. Let's knurl it. Now, we just put a flat knurl on it, but this has got a fancy... It's got a fancy rope knurl, which goes around the... rope knurl goes around the surface here, around the cylindrical part of it. And rather than being full round, it's got sort of a flat piece on the outside. So back here to sketch one, we can easily up. And that's all on a funny angle. So if we click N for normal, brings it round nice. Now, what we're going to do is draw a line here, something like this, because I think this is the feature it needs, between there and there. And the line, if we hover over that and then drag out to here, it'll tell us, it'll join on in the right spot there. And we can go across to this line, which is red. And we can trim this out. Trim that out. And probably the easiest way is just to mirror that. And trim that piece out. So that gives us a flat surface, and I think we're just going to put like a... there we go. That looks more like the shape. Now, the knurl looks to be, what, 30 degrees? Something like that. It wants to be a V groove about 30 degrees and a raid round there. So what we probably want to do You're thinking about that? How do we do that? A straight one's very easy. Are we going to cheat and put a straight knurl on it? Probably. We'll go to the top view and we'll put a sketch on here. Which is terrible. So what we want, triangle that looks something like this. And we just use the same dimension, but if we select this line and this line, We'll probably do that and mirror that. What we've got is a little triangle. This is cheating. And I'll have a think about doing a rope mill. We might come back and do that. But it's an interesting little feature to do that. Bit of a challenge. So what we've got is a little triangle. That's sketched. Now, up here on this little box is a circular pattern. You probably don't want to do that. What we want to do is extrude this, I think. A new part. Fix symmetrical and it goes each side of the centre line. No matter how far that sticks out there, but it doesn't need to be that long. Let's call it 5, it'll be a little bit clearer. We've got a new part there that we're eventually going to take away from the knob and put a knurl in there. And that can be adjusted so it looks right. From there, we're going to do the same thing. Not with that one though. This one here, a circular pattern. And that gives us an object pattern rather than a sketch pattern. We're going to pattern that one. Our axis of our pattern is going to be on that line. Or that line, doesn't matter. Right? And we want, what, 100? How's that look? $120. That might do. And we're going to remove them from the merge scope is part 1. There we go. That doesn't look too bad. It's quite pleasing and straight knurl. It look much nicer with a. There's no knurl button. There's no rope knurl on this button. There should be. If someone wants to write a feature script, I'm sure that it would eventually become part of the program. And you can go online and you can do that and make it work. But it's not my thing. Anyway, if we look back at our assembly, that should be automatically updated. There we go. It's starting to look something like. If we turn that, you can see it scrolls up and down, winds up and down, so that'll work. Very cool. Okay, that's quite a job. We've done a few jobs there tonight. We've sorted out this feature, which is where our centre bolt goes, and we need to make a bolt and screw for that. That holds our adjuster iron on. We've got logics here. But this piece here at home place. We made this boss here with the bar in our, and our stud and our nut. We'll put them all together. We've made these cutouts in the side, and we've adjusted this to look the same as the actual plane with copying. That's all it is a copy of a Stanley 100. That's not a bad effort. It's getting on a bit. So that's interesting. Next parts, I guess, are the rest of. Let's have a look at this. Next parts, I guess, are this feature in the center here, this little piece here, and this rocking bracket that works with this, so that we animate it so that when you wind this up and down, we can put limits on that adjustment. That's easy. So it only winds from there to there. When you wind that up and down, this little bracket moves backwards and forwards on this pivot point here and moves these two little knobs backwards and forwards. I think we're back. Sorry about that. We'll try here. But we can go ahead and put the fillets around this back space here because there's nothing will go in here. So we could do and it's starting to look a bit more finished off. There's still a bit more to do on this part. And I guess the next pieces are these, the animation for these, and probably this part here, which is quite straightforward. If anyone knows why this has S and B written on it in the casting, it's interesting. I don't think it's Restream. I think it's the internet. I think we're just dropping in and out because it's kind of raining. It's going to rain all night. Anyway, that's what we've done tonight. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. We'll keep going, and we'll get, if you can still hear us, we'll get some bits done. Another thing I'd really like to do is put Stanley on there like that, maybe. And it'd be fun to assemble it all, and when you turn the knob, have the blade go in and out. So that's the idea of that. And probably the same with this, when you assemble it on here like this, it goes under the blade and turns. Have it so that when you wind or move this from side to side, it might even wobble. We'll see how we go with that. But that's your crank offset on the cant on the blade. And also have this piece on the front so that when you move that backwards and forwards, that moves the slidey piece on the back in and out. Anyway, take care, John. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. Bill has a tidy shed, which is awesome. And I don't. I've got some paint on stuff, but we'll have a look at that tomorrow night, maybe. But hopefully we've got a little bit of direction on this, and this is the project at the moment on Onshape. It's not really an actual making project. It's just a CAD project, something fun, and it's topical at work and stuff with colleagues and things. So it's interesting to do this. Anyway, be kind to each other and sleep well. I've got rain. I'm in the van and it's bucketing down. We'll see how we go with that. And